Welcome to Sage Advice, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern science. Here, we explore herbal medicine, natural health, and the fascinating ways our bodies are designed to heal and thrive. From the microbiome to medicinal plants to plant oils, we'll uncover practical insights that help you understand your personal health in a whole new way. I'm Karen Mallinger, the Herb Gal, and I'm so glad you're here. So let's learn, grow, and together, let's get better. For the last 3 weeks, we've been discussing stress and inflammation and the connection between them. We talked about how everyone is exhausted, overstimulated, underslept, and running on stress hormones, the link to the nervous system, and last week, how sometimes the best medicine is rest medicine. Let me ask you, have you ever felt exhausted all day only to find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m.? Or maybe you've noticed stubborn weight gain, brain fog, anxiety, poor sleep, or feeling overwhelmed by even the smallest tasks. Many people immediately blame cortisol, and while cortisol is involved, the story is much bigger than that. Today, we're diving into the cortisol connection and how modern life keeps many of us stuck in a stress response our bodies were never meant to, or designed to maintain. So, what exactly is cortisol? It's often called the stress hormone, but that's only part of its job. Your adrenal glands produce cortisol every day to help regulate blood sugar, energy production, immune function, inflammation, blood pressure, and your sleep-wake cycles. And the body's response to stress? Without cortisol, we couldn't get out of bed in the morning. In fact, healthy cortisol should rise naturally shortly after waking and gradually decline through the day. Cortisol isn't the villain. It's chronic cortisol elevation that's the problem. We discussed in an earlier segment how your body was designed for short-term stress. Thousands of years ago, stress looked like escaping a predator, surviving a storm, finding food. The threat appeared, the body responded, and the threat ended. Today, our bodies react to email notifications, financial worries, traffic, family conflicts, news headlines, and overpacked schedules. The body often can't tell the difference between a charging bear and a stressful inbox. The stress response activates anyway. So, how does this pertain to the cortisol connection to modern symptoms? I am so glad you asked. What makes this so challenging is that chronic stress creates conditions that generate more stress. Stress causes higher cortisol. Higher cortisol causes poor sleep. Poor sleep causes less recovery. Less recovery, increased stress sensitivity, which causes more cortisol. For many people, the cycle becomes self-perpetuating. When stress becomes chronic, cortisol can contribute to several conditions you may be experiencing right now. See if any of this sounds familiar. Poor sleep. Elevated cortisol can leave you feeling tired but wired. You desperately need sleep but can't shut your mind off. Sound familiar? Weight gain. Chronically elevated cortisol may increase your cravings for sugar and highly processed foods while encouraging fat storage around the abdomen. Brain fog. Remember, your body will always prioritize survival over higher level thinking. Your memory, concentration, and focus are often going to suffer. Mood changes. Have you been experiencing any of the following on a regular basis? Anxiety, irritability, feeling overwhelmed, reduced resilience, or increased inflammation? Ironically, although cortisol normally helps regulate inflammation, long-term stress can disrupt this balance and contribute to inflammatory issues. Last week, we talked about how rest was so important to this equation and keeping your cortisol from going into a chronic state. How many of you out there took my advice and tried some of the tips? Tell the truth now. Did it feel hard? Uncomfortable? It did for me. Why is that? One of the most frustrating parts of nervous system exhaustion is that many people no longer feel comfortable just resting. When your body becomes accustomed to stress hormones, slowing down can feel uncomfortable, unproductive, anxiety provoking. Some people even feel guilty when they rest. Their nervous system has been conditioned to constant stimulation. This is why simply telling someone to relax rarely works. As a hint, this especially applies when it's coming from our husbands, ladies. Our nervous systems must relearn safety. Last week, I talked about several herbal supports for the stress response. The idea here is to support resilience rather than simply sedating the body. I can certainly give you a valerian tincture to knock you out, but remember, we are always looking to address the root cause, not just the symptoms. Holy basil, traditionally used to support the body's response to stress and promote balance. Milky oats, a nourishing herb often used when people feel depleted and overwhelmed. Lemon balm. Lemon balm supports relaxation while still allowing mental clarity. This makes it an excellent choice for use during the day when you still have to remain sharp and focused. Chamomile. Very helpful when tension is showing up in your digestion and sleep patterns. Just make sure that you don't have an allergy to ragweed. If you do, this may not be the herb for you. Ashwagandha. We already discussed this as an adaptogen that supports stress resilience, so this one should be in your apothecary. Remember, with any of these herbs, the herbs alone will not make lasting changes. Herbs work best alongside lifestyle changes rather than as a magic bullet. Finally, realize the real solution isn't eliminating stress. The issue isn't that we experience stress. The issue is we often don't experience enough recovery time. Our ancestors had periods of rest, social connection, nature exposure, physical movement, and sleep. Today, many people move from one stressor directly into another without allowing their nervous system to complete the stress cycle. Here's an analogy for you. Imagine driving your car at full throttle all day, every day, without ever pulling over to let the engine cool. Eventually, the problem is not the gas pedal. It's the fact that the engine never gets a break. Cortisol is the gas pedal. The real issue is that modern life often forgets to hit the brakes. This distinction alone can help you shift your thinking from how do I lower my cortisol to the much more useful question, how do I give my body more opportunities to recover? Simple daily practices can help, and we discussed this in last week's podcast. Morning sunlight exposure, regular movement, deep breathing, time in nature, consistent sleep routines, limiting information overload, nourishing foods, of course, and herbal support. Remember that small actions repeated consistently often have a bigger impact than dramatic changes. We don't want to exacerbate the condition. Your body isn't broken. If you've been feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, anxious, or stuck in that tired, wired cycle, your body may simply be responding exactly as it was designed to respond to chronic stress. The good news is that the nervous system can recover. It responds beautifully to consistency, nourishment, rest, and gentle support. The path back to balance isn't usually found in doing more. It's often found in creating enough safety for the body to finally let go of survival mode. As we wrap up today, remember this: cortisol isn't the enemy. Stress isn't the enemy. These are normal, necessary parts of being human. The problem arises when life becomes so busy, so demanding, and so noisy that our bodies never get the message that it's safe to rest. Your body is always listening. It's paying attention to your sleep, your nourishment, your movement, your relationships, your thoughts, and even the way you speak to yourself. The good news is the body is incredibly resilient. Small, consistent acts of care can have a profound impact over time. A cup of herbal tea, a walk in the woods, 5 minutes of deep breathing, going to bed a little earlier. These simple choices tell the nervous system you're safe now. Healing rarely happens in dramatic leaps. More often, it happens through small, daily practices that bring us back into balance. Thank you for spending time with me today. Until next time, take good care of yourself, trust your body's wisdom, and remember, you don't have to earn rest. Your body already knows how to heal when given the chance. And speaking of healing, next week we're diving into a topic that seems to be everywhere these days: gut health. From social media influencers to supplement companies, everyone seems to have an opinion about what's happening inside your digestive system. But how much of it is actually true? Do you really need expensive supplements? Is bloating always a sign that something is wrong? Why does digestion slow under stress? And what simple, practical things can you do to support digestive health without feeling overwhelmed? Join me next week for Gut Health Without the Hype, where we'll separate fact from fiction and explore what your gut is really trying to tell you and what it needs to survive. Until then, listen to your body, spend some time outside, enjoy a cup of something herbal, and let's get better.